Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Elise. Happy Friday evening. It is another Best Life Friday. Today, we are going to be looking into the concept of advocacy. Every Friday I like to come on here and do a little academic review of thoughts and knowledge base around specific topics that if we could all learn together, we could find ourselves onto a path towards our best life. It's Best Life Friday. I'm delayed. I got a delay. It happens. I've got to figure this out. I figured out how to get rid of the delay, but then it always comes. But it's not that bad today. It's short today. So I found an article. It's published in the International Journal of... You see a black screen? What are you talking about? There's no black. Let's see what you're seeing. Let me see what you're seeing. No, yeah, it's not black. It's a little trippy, psychedelic. Hello. Was it black for a moment? I know the video is delayed. I just started everything up. I mean, I could try to fix it again right now. I just restarted everything up so there was no delay, but it's weird. It's like, it's so sensitive if like the camera gets called at different times by the different softwares I'm using it in. It causes this delay. But yeah, I found an article in the International Journal of the... Get this right. Semiotics of law. I didn't know what semiotics is. It's the study of symbols, the study of signs. So when applied to law, it's kind of like the meaning behind law. The meaning behind, and of course law can mean a lot of different things, but this particular article we will be looking at today is around advocacy, which, you know, in law, advocacy is a big theme. Hey Craig, welcome in, good to see ya. It is a big theme. I think this is specifically around the advocacy of mental health. But what I found interesting about this article that I think we can learn from is that they kind of do like a psychology profile around, you know, the benefits of advocacy, like what kind of personality is required and what's going to be the final effect, essentially from philanthropy. It's like advocating for a cause or advocating for someone else, which, you know, I'm now seeing a lot of this in the perspective of how we utilize jokes and memes and trolls in order to like influence the ones around us. You know, we could of course do it with hate. It's done with hate all the time. Not really, I mean, I don't really want to even give the time of day to any kind of research of the psychology of hate. Not worth it, right? But, you know, I do want to understand, what's the psychology of philanthropy? Like, what's the psychology of actually giving a fuck? You know, because if we find some good news about that, then, you know, I'd hope it influences us to become more of advocates, to find platforms and causes that we're passionate about and want to invest our time and memes and trolls and trends into influencing the change that we want to see. You know? Because it's like, I'm always trying to encourage people to like find causes and things to be passionate about. But I want to understand some more meat and some more, give more purpose and reason for people to advocate versus just not giving a fuck, which, could be easy pit to fall into. But Taff, a lot of people do joke with hate. They do troll with hate. A lot. Dude, there's a movie on Netflix. It give me the chills because it's exactly about hate on social media and how some trolls are like manipulated into becoming hateful trolls. Hey, welcome in, Premise Land. How you doing? Oh, you finished your gazebo today. Great, Craig. Congratulations. Yeah, so, I'm not here to talk about how do we stop hateful trolling. I mean, really, one legitimate way that we can do that is by, like, changing our own behaviors. Because maybe things that we inadvertently support, we may think they're, like, harmless ideas or harmless parts of our life, but they could surprisingly be a part of something hateful. Oh, we got an interesting question on Reddit. Oh, but the movie on Netflix, I believe it's called Hateful. Let me verify this, but it's set in Poland. And it's about this dude that's like really good with technology. And he's a little bit of a creep. Hey, Premise Land. Yeah, I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. Or maybe it's just called Hate. And he ends up getting a job with a PR firm that does like intense hate smear campaigns to support, like it's kind of like nasty marketing. And this guy ends up being really good of infiltrating trolls and manipulating them, and it turns pretty, it's insane. Like, I'm trying to look for the, fuck. But yeah, I'm gonna get to your question on Reddit. I just want to get the title of this movie before I forget. The Hater. It's called The Hater. The Hater. 2020 Polish social thriller film. Kind of like Cambridge Analytica, like these kinds of like consulting or PR firms that get your tasks done at any means possible. Yeah, it's a pretty scary movie, The Hater. It's pretty scary. Pretty creepy. But it's all about this. It's all about, like, how it should make us question, like, if you have even, like, close family members and people that you love that are participating in, like, social media hate, fear-mongering kinds of things, it's very likely that shit's being manipulated. The Hater. It's called The Hater. Just singular, Tef. It's an interesting movie. Watch it. I mean, it's definitely like a far out there movie, but then it also makes you think, man, that's not so far out. Alright, so your question is, I don't know if this is a troll question, but I'll, Okay, fair enough. If you can explain the difference between the male perspective and female perspective, then I might believe you. I don't know what is the belief here. You're drinking the haterade. Yeah, so enough with the hate. This is about positive. Like, so today we're talking about advocacy. So advocacy is the opposite of hate. Like, if you're genuinely advocating for something, it means that you, like, are invested and that you actually really care. That's the opposite of hate. And we could actually practice advocacy through trolling, through memes, through, you know, the fun stuff that makes the internet fun. And it could actually be quite effective of influencing some change. The same way that the haters and the people that are manipulating the hate trolls, you know, they're also motivated to influence some change. Because ultimately that's what that kind of behavior does, is it influences change. It motivates a community to renegotiate its culture. So I'm just gonna drink some tea first and then we'll jump to this article. Okay, so the difference of the male perspective and the female perspective, I think that we can't even generalize it that much. Because it's that everybody is so individualized and unique. I mean, there's overarching things, biological things. Now, if you're trying to ask me if there's like personality related biological things, that I do question. I'm drinking haterade. We're not drinking haterade around here, Premise Land. We're drinking tea. We're drinking tea. But cheers, kampai, Friday night. So yeah, I don't know what you're asking me to get you to believe in. I don't think I proposed anything other than the effectiveness of trolling and introducing what advocacy is. I hardly ever ask anybody to believe in anything after I've spoken on something. Yeah, drink tea instead. Yes, get the L-theanine. Hey Laura, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Well, you're bullying Poco-chan? What's Poco-chan? Tef. You mean Poco-chan? Okay, so you say, my question is very positive as it delves into the desire of the general person. Okay, please explain more. Oh, that's also another. How do you know if a therapist is good for you? Okay, so I'm not an expert on this, but I could take a stab at this. I can really only share from my experience of tea, right? And like what makes a good tea for you, what makes a good tea service with you, which I believe is kind of related to what you want in a therapist. You want somebody that's going to create a safe, vulnerable place for you to share and make the discoveries yourself, right? I mean, I'm not an expert on these things, but when it comes to tea, that is actually a very important part in finding, what teas are good for you to drink and what tea servers or tea houses are good for you. Because it's the idea of holding space. So, immediate red flags would be a lack of comfort, a lack of vulnerability, a lack of authenticity. Are you giving me thumbs up because is that it? Is that like, because I'll be honest, I've never actually gone to a therapist. I'm not against it and I will. But I feel like I've been blessed with a lot of really great, oh, you're just spamming. Okay, great. Thank you, Premise Land. I appreciate your spam. Yeah, Pogo-chan. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a good bully. I don't think it's a good bully, Tef. I think there are better bullies. Anyway, bully is not good. We're trying to troll here. We're trying to troll. We're not trying to bully. We're trying to troll. Because bully, let's look up the definition of bully. Because I don't know if bully is like... Seek to harm, intimidate, or coerce someone perceived as vulnerable. Yeah, no bullying. No more bullying, Tef. No bullying allowed around here. The control, though. Yeah, there's a big difference between bully and troll. A big difference. A big difference. Thank you for the sweat drop. I'm getting sweaty in here in the heart. Yeah, but someone that is seeking a therapist, I would think that that would be a really important quality to look for, is like your level of comfort with them. Okay, so you say basically it lets us see the world from more than one perspective. A lot of the times guys don't get that the girl they are with doesn't see life from their perspective and just assumes that they do. So I want to know if you know, instead of doing the typical thing that a guy does. I don't know. Yeah, you can try to troll Taff, but then you got to see like what the response is, and you got to listen to the response. All right, so I gave you the feedback that that's not a really good troll. Yes, ooh, welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for the heart. Purposefully. How do y'all feel about that? How does it like? When you're speaking with someone that has no language as their native language, and they like purposefully misspell things, is that a good troll? Like what is learned? What is learned in that troll? Hey King for $20. Thanks for the hearts, Esu. What is learned in that troll, right? Because again, trolling, the benefit of trolling is that you're helping a culture, or you're helping a community renegotiate its culture. Like, so what's effective on that? Oh, well, you know, it seems like RNG, like, you seem to be asking yourself the right questions and putting yourself onto the right path with that. But if you have the facility to do so, perhaps you could test your hypothesis here that you could become more comfortable if maybe you scheduled more sessions. It's an option. Or, you know, if you tried to meet someone else. I don't know how that goes. Again, I've never, you know, never worked with a therapist before. Oh, I know, Cache, like, I know that, Cache System. I know you weren't trolling. I wasn't calling you a troll. I'm calling Taff a troll. Taff is, I'm multi-streaming to several different platforms. So, yeah, please excuse if you hear me referencing somebody and that you don't see them in the chat here. You know, I'm across different platforms. Someone else is trying to troll. Or bully or whatever. Not you. I know you're asking serious questions and I'm seriously trying to answer it. Oh yeah, you're a troll, Tef. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to troll Tef. Hey Wade, welcome in. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Archie, thank you for the spam. Alright, we're gonna get to reading this article because this article is about philanthropy and about advocacy and like what it does for our psychology when we do practice these things. Which, you know, if I'm sitting here trying to ask y'all to troll with love, this is a big part of it. It's like, well, why the fuck should I care? And it's like, well, I don't know, maybe it'll be beneficial for us to care. So here's the article. Let's get it. It is titled The Philosophy of the Gift and the Psychology of Advocacy, Critical Reflections on Forensic Mental Health Intervention. So this isn't a law journal. So I think a lot of this is in the context of like advocates in, you know, the court setting and the justice setting that are actually like advocating for specific like laws or people in the court system, people or cases in the court system. Okay, let me look it up. Thank you. You know, this is it. I'm ignorant, you know, like, that's why we do this thing, cash system. Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot. I'm looking this up, the male perspective. Let's see this article from Psychology Today. But it's when there's like an ideology or a philosophy that's dominated by men, a field dominated by men, so it's affected by that perspective. Am I interpreting this right? I've just read it really quickly, this article, but we live in a gendered society where males are expected to be unemotional. No, yeah, we live within a patriarchy. So that's what I'm saying, you know, like, I've heard people like Jordan Peterson talk about how, like, psychologically men and women are different, and that's a biological thing. It's in our psychology. It's wired in us biologically. And I don't agree with that. I think that this patriarchy, or exactly what this article says, like, they're expected to be unemotional. That's just one example. There's a bunch of examples. Am I correct? Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know what the answer is. You know, like, I don't consider myself a feminist anymore because I've learned that there's a whole mess, you know, with the current wave of feminism in kind of discourse around feminism. I think, like, my ideology is more aligned with post-humanism, I think I can safely say, where it's kind of like egalitarian. I have no idea what will be the outcome in, like, what the perspectives would be, male and female, if we weren't in a patriarchal society. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll be better, you know, and I talk a lot about matriarchal society as well, and in a very idealized way, because, you know, it's ideals, but, you know, like, when I've tried to look at the definitions of the actual implementation of matriarchal society versus patriarchal society, the biggest difference is that patriarchy involves imbalance of power, while in matriarchal societies, the implementation of them in ancient times and what's been documented and what currently still exists in certain parts of the world, there's not an imbalance of power. It's like both men and women have power. They both contribute their value to society. Both possess positions of leadership. Why is the male perspective wrong? Because it's limited, you know, and I'm not saying that to bash on men and to say, you know, that men need to be pegged down. Because, you know, I think that men are even held down through patriarchy. You know, these insecurities and these kind of walls that men build. Just this exact sentence, this article, males are expected to be unemotional. Like, that is actually holding you back from living your best life and having your best perspective that you can have. See you later, Promised Land. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you so much. Why is it wrong? Like, why is patriarchy wrong? Because there's an imbalance of power. And I really don't believe... What happened? What happened on Twitch? Hey, Promised Land, thank you for the 10 bits. Thank you for the 10 bits. That means we gotta get Bitcoin over here. Bitcoin! You got some bits! You got some bits, boy! Tef, thanks for saying hi. Hey, Promised Land is a Pokechaw friend, Tef. He's a Pokechaw friend. Bitcoin! How so? Cash system. How are they different? Like the concept of an emotion. All right, I'm gonna get to reading this article, but cash system, I am totally ready to follow up on this, so please expand, please continue. I do appreciate your engagement with this conversation. Okay, this article examines mental health advocacy, exploring the philosophy of the gift and the psychology of forensic intervention. By selectively, though strategically reviewing the work of Hobbes, Emerson, and Nietzsche, we argue that egoism, charity, and pity displace altruistic, selfless gift-giving. To further legitimize our analysis, we considered Derrida's semiotic deconstructionism, which semiotic, yeah, that was Pokechaw. Please, Tef. Just looks silly with the N on the end of it. Hey, CBD King, welcome in. Yeah, Tef is a good friend, Promised Land. He's actually been on Pokechaw before. Last time I went to Europe, I met him. And he was on Pokechaw with me on this stream. Yeah, Cash System, I want to hear more, please. How the idea of emotion is different. Bitcoin. Okay, thank you, Tef. Bitcoin, baby, come on. Come here, you got some bits. You got some bits. You gotta come say hi to Promised Land. Say thank you for the bits. Hey, Promised Land, if you give 1,000 bits, is it 1,000 bits? You'll get yourself a Bitcoin emote here on Twitch. You saw Tef, he used it. Yeah, which you've already given Bitcoin several bits. Come here, baby. Come here. He just woke up from a nap. But isn't he precious? Isn't he precious, boy? There, that's it right there. Is a cutie. Just like him. Bitcoin! Bitcoin! Asu, thank you for becoming a mini fan. The proposing bear. I thought he was quite You know, he's a little bit non-PC with his jokes. I was gonna say something, but oh, big yawn, big yawn. All right, we got another chat. So basically, we are taught to control our emotions and become objects of mentality, and logic. And you as a woman. All right, let's get it. Let's see what the patriarchy's got to say. You and other women are naturally taught to be objects of desire. That's by the patriarchy. You go into a matriarchal society and it's not that way. Yeah, cash system. I don't know. I don't agree. Yeah, Bitcoin, they want to see you on the stream. Don't look away. It's that way currently. It's that way because of the patriarchy. It wasn't always that way. When you look at any indigenous culture, and you even look at, like, Eastern and African cultures that have not yet been fully colonized, very different, very, very different dynamic. And so, like, what you're saying right here, this is the shit that I was saying that, like, Jordan Peterson be talking. And that's some hateful, misogynistic shit. This is not natural. You use that word natural, stop that. That's not true. It is not accurate. Within the current social system that we are in, yes, that is what we're being taught. Yes. Oh, you want to see it? Here. No. I lived in Africa. I lived in Africa. I lived in Niger, West Africa. And it's a colonized place, but I lived in the bush. I lived deep way out in the bush, where French had not even touched it. Like, I had to learn Hausa. I had to learn, like, a native language of the area. And women were definitely not objects. Like, they are owned. Like, once a woman would become a wife, yes, there was some objectification that happened there. No, I lived there just fucking 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it's still that way. So that's what I'm saying, that, like, there are still existing places. It's like all the places that have yet to be freaking colonized are the ones that you can see the drastic difference in the gender roles. Like, yes, women are still nurturing. Like, I'm not going to deny that. Like, there are certain biological, yes, and natural differences between the male and the female experience. That's what I said at the very beginning when you asked this question. That, yeah, women have children, and there's a lot of work involved in having a child, which will affect your perspective. That I'm not denying. Yes, men can develop, stronger muscles and be more capable and offer more value for certain tasks. Yes, but like this, like, lack of emotion or this ownership of women to men, that is a very new concept. It's a very new social construct. New in the sense of, like, total human history. No, there are several matriarchal societies, and most ancient societies are matriarchal, where women were not submissive. Like, it was more of an egalitarian. That's probably the better term to use to describe those kinds of societies. Oh, that's okay, Premise Land. Yeah, you're welcome to lurk. Thank you. Thank you for lurking with us. Explain women in Asia. Yeah, I'm in no position to explain women in Asia. I've never lived in Asia. I've lived in post-colonized Asia. But I've never lived, like, I have experience, like, a lot of the tea growers that I work with, I do get to visit certain places. Actually, there's one place in India I go to, and they tell me that there's a matriarchal society not far from them, and it seems very progressive and awesome. I never got to visit. But yeah, a lot of Asia and a lot of Africa is the culture, you know, there's a lot of internalized misogyny, internalized patriarchy, money and commerce being the main fucking instigator of that. Hey, exclamation joint, welcome in. Thank you for the like. Having a very heated discussion with someone on Reddit right now. But there are some indigenous cultures that are untouched. Not many that I've heard of. Like in the tea growing world, there's a place in China where like the really old tea comes from. The pu'er tea comes from Yunnan. It's grown and produced by people that live in the mountains, and these are like nomadic tribes, you know, that over the millennia had traveled from Mongolia through Tibet, India, Burma, or Myanmar into China. And you know, China is a very aggressive colonizing power. You know, China, if you look at the map, China's a very, very big place. But over the years, that it wasn't always China. You know, there were a lot of very isolated groups of people, nomadic people, that even after the Cultural Revolution, China didn't really have a use for them, or, you know, so they hadn't really influenced. Oh, yeah, the really good tea's coming from that place, but unfortunately, during the Cultural Revolution, it was illegal to sell tea directly into the market. You had to go through, you know, like their centralized business systems. And they were catering to like the commodity market. So it wasn't very good for the farmers and for the people. So they started chopping down the trees because the trees had more value as like burning wood than they did as, you know, tea. But it wasn't until like there's been a boom like with the growing number of like new millionaires in Beijing and Shanghai, and the lowering opportunity in like real estate ROI, that a lot of new millionaires are speculating on tea being an investment. So tea has become like this vehicle of investment. Really strange, over the past like 20, 30 years. And so in that time period, all of a sudden, these communities have become relevant. And so now they're starting to speak Mandarin, and now they're starting to lose a lot of the original culture, which you talk to people, like I talk to people my own age when I go there, and I ask them like what their childhood was like compared to what it's now, because now it's like everybody has vehicles, everybody has phones, everybody has television, everybody speaks Mandarin. It's like they're in China. But like they're like, yeah, we grew up and still speaking their original language and practicing their original customs. And the women did have a lot of power in those communities. You know, and a lot of the misogyny, like, dude, just like spreads like wildfire. And anyway, you can't generalize women in Asia. Asia is a really big fucking place. It's like saying women in Africa, same thing. But I do know of communities where women are super empowered and completely not submissive. Like, their character is not submissive. Doesn't, Ama... I don't know who you're talking about, CBD King. Oh, it's an herb. Interesting. It increases energy level and promotes weight loss. Yeah, I don't know about this herb. I just deal with tea. You know, tea originally was a medicine for like a lot of its early history. It was just a medicine. And they made it into soup. They make all their medicines into soups. But tea is a proactive medicine, which I like. I like the whole concept around a lot of Eastern medicine. Hey, what's up? Joao is in the house. What's up? What's up, Plastic Man? Bitcoin says hi. Take the cc's of tea and call me in the morning. Oh, you're talking like that's what the doctor says? You're just passing by to say hi? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. See ya. Yeah, China. And you're talking about China? You're talking about Han China? It's fascinating. China. I'm not qualified at all to talk about it. I mean, based off of what you heard me saying, like I have a lot of experience, but like still a lot I want to learn. But I stand firm. I stand firm in my hypothesis that if we were to remove patriarchy, and patriarchy is connected to a lot of fucking things. It's not just an imbalance of power between men and women. It's what, you know, people are saying is like modern day capitalism, which, you know, I still don't even like to say that it's capitalism. It's more of the mindset and the intention, the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability, and how capitalism is being practiced now that a lot of people are being exploited, and it's not fair. Like, the concept of profit doesn't even fucking exist. Profit cannot exist, right? So it's like a mathematical equation. What goes up has to come down. Like, there has to be something. You know, we have balance sheets for a reason. I don't understand how we can have balance sheets and profit in the same. It can be exchanges of value. All right, cool, man. Premise Land, I hope you enjoy your weekend. Have a good rest tonight. Yeah, the feminist movement is definitely not a matriarchy. I mean, in fact, that's what I was saying, that like I don't identify with being a feminist, because in my research that I've been doing since I started to identify with being a feminist and started to wanted to do work of deconstructing the misogyny, I've learned that a lot of the feminism movement is having internalized misogyny. So like that's not the solution either. Like we have not seen a matriarchal society in the United States ever. Like Hawaiian societies, and pretty much any indigenous community, And should have even went to Europe, like pagan societies. I think those were. Let me look this up. I'm not making this claim. I want to make sure. I mean, we haven't had a true matriarchal society. I don't think ever. But the closest things that we have had to them in implementation and actual execution, and then they get defined, the main difference is not that, like, women are all in charge in matriarchy and men are all in charge in patriarchy. The major difference with patriarchy is that there's an imbalance of power. And that concept, that imbalance of power, has trickled into imbalance of power of everything. Imbalance of power of somebody that doesn't look like you, someone that doesn't behave like you. No, a pimp and a prostitute is not matriarchy. No. Yeah. So, Tef, I think, like, inherently, a matriarchal society is going to be a very small, localized society. And that's cool. That's great. But I think there's a lot, like, even in Denmark, I'm sure historically, like, during the pagan years, because, you know, Christianity has been a major player of patriarchy. It's been a major tool of patriarchy. Oh, you said patriarchy. I thought you said matriarchy. So it sounds like a matriarchy, pimp and prostitute. Oh, it's a patriarchy that sounds like a matriarchy. Okay, yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that. Sorry. That people say that prostitutes are, like, empowered because they're, like, their own entrepreneur, but when they're in, like, a predatory relationship with a pimp, there's an imbalance of power. So that's it. Like, in a matriarchy, there would be no imbalance of power. Like, if there were to be, you know, a business in the sex industry, there would be a balance of power between the men and the women in that organization. And I don't think it inherently means that, like, women are going to be all the leaders. Like, I think men will be leaders too. Men will have their power as well. Hey, CBD Queen, welcome in. Everybody's going to have power. That's the main difference. It's not an imbalance of power. DJ Millie, welcome in. Hey, Bromslad, thank you for the 10 bits. That was 4 minutes ago. Why did I get the ding just now? What do you mean? How is there no balance of power? See, I think you're looking at the definition of matriarchy as, like, the opposite of patriarchy. And that's not true at all. Look up the words. Go to your dictionary and look up the words. But, like, the really important definition that we should be thinking about here and discussing is, like, the actual implementation. Right? Because you have things in theory, and then you have, like, when they actually get applied, and they end up being a little bit different. And yes, it's probably because there are certain biological characteristics between men and women. I'll agree with you. There are some natural differences between men and women. I don't think it has anything to be submissive or non-emotional. That's patriarchy. That's just patriarchy. But yeah, I think women are nurturing. Women are going to be making longer-ended decisions, while men are going to be more skilled at making shorter-term decisions. Like, I don't think that those are dangerous, incorrect gender characteristics. But to say women are submissive and men need to be unemotional, like, I don't think that that's biological at all. Thank you for the hashtag, CBD Queen. Appreciate it. What did I air quote on? What did I air quote on? If I ever do use air quotes, it's usually like because I'm trying to accentuate something really silly. Aw, fuck that cash system. Mm-mm. So you're telling me that I can't be a leader? Then why the fuck do I have so many people engaged, with what I'm talking about right now? It's not true. Women being followers and men being leaders is biological. That's so bullshit. That's so bullshit. You know how many men I have following me? And not just in a freaking pick-me type of a way, but like in a real legitimate type of way with like legitimate respect. I was just talking about tea. Yeah, because I'm a fucking tea boss. I'm a tea CEO. Like, my life is tea. I teach people about tea and I introduce the tea lifestyle to people because I think it can help us become better people. Alright, I'm gonna get back to this article now. I do appreciate you bringing up this argument, but yeah, it's a limited perspective. It's not natural. A lot of what you are setting down as baseline here is patriarchy. And I don't know what matriarchy would be, because it's never freaking existed. Documented, the historians, patriarchy historians have not documented how a matriarchy would be executed. But from what I have read, it's more egalitarian than anything. And yeah, that's probably because of the natural biological leadership skills of women. Because women are smart enough to say, I have value and men have value too. Not to be like how men act in a patriarchy of I have value and women don't have value. That's what you're saying here. Only value for women is that they're breeders. And now I'm goofy. Now you're gaslighting me. Thanks. Yeah, patriarchy. Oh my god, you just proved my point there. Who writes history? Yeah, the patriarchy. everybody should be leaders. And everybody should also, just like everybody should be teachers and be students, you know, because everybody has value and information from their perspectives, their unique perspectives that are valuable to everybody else. To say that men have biological leadership skills while women have biological following skills is absolute bullshit. Don't bring that here. Don't, who makes history? Who made all the fucking people? Everybody. I'm not trying to say that women are better than men. Women are more special than men. Yeah, Cleopatra, thanks, Steph. The word advocate has its roots in Latin advocare, meaning to call or to summon help. Thus, the Latin advocatus refers to a counselor or an advocate, that is, whose help is called for or summoned. We note then that advocacy generally involves the process of helping those of whom assistance is needed. It is an act of service or intervention where one is called upon to assist. Yeah, so don't forget the women. Women have value too. Men have value, women have value. But all these other ideas that you put out here, I'm letting you know that's all patriarchy. That's not biology. Okay. Thank you, Cassius. Thank you for acknowledging that. The nature of the service, however, is less readily ascertainable. One may physically engage in helpful acts, yet the psychology of such acts is typically left unspoken or pre-thematic. We note, though, that underlying motivation of one's actions is significant, particularly when such influences inevitably affect the quality and consequently the value of the assistance that one provides. There are two forms of unspoken motivation, the conscious and the unconscious. In this article, we are uniquely concerned with the latter. Unconscious desires inform conscious dynamics and ultimately texture the act itself. Women can be analytical too. Cash system. I don't think an analytical mindset is specific to women. Just like I don't think an emotional mindset is specific to women and not to men. Yeah, CBD King, like, you're right. Yeah, there's some places where women can excel. And there are exceptions of the rule as well, in all cases, in all directions. What's your question? Why are men naturally or unnaturally more analytical? Yeah, I answered your question. I don't believe they are more analytical. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's a true statement. So I can't give you an answer because I don't think that men are more analytical. Now, I could answer why you think men are more analytical, and that's the fucking patriarchy. I think men can be good teachers, and men can also be very good with raising children too. I don't think that that's like a inherent biological trait. Now, like in regards to raising kids, right? Because like biologically, really biologically, like women have no choice but to have that role. Men can have the choice to not. Men could also have the choice to be just as deeply engaged with it as the mother is. And that experience, that perspective will affect their personality and their characteristics. But like women don't have a choice. Right? So I think that it's, I will safely say that there are certain characteristics, personality traits of nurturing, consistency, like nurturing consistency. But men can have that too, because if a father chooses to have that experience, they're gonna acquire very similar perspectives than women. Oh, Jesse's here. Thanks for saying hi to Jesse. Jesse, how you doing? But it also doesn't make it just your opinion too, Cash System. Because all these things that you're saying are just opinions as well, based on very limited information, which is the important thing. It's based on limited information. And you said it yourself, who wrote history? Men, or if women did write it, more than likely they have internalized misogyny, internalized patriarchy within their ethos and within their perspective. So even if we were to go reference thanks, Ted. Yeah, you made the question, why do you think men are more analytical? Is that still the same question you're wanting me to answer? I feel like I've answered your question. But yeah, I don't understand the birds. I don't know how that's relevant. I don't know how to answer that. Thanks, CBD Queen. Thanks. I'm just trying. I was trying to talk about advocacy and like philanthropy and like the psychology for us if we choose to go down those routes. Like, why should we give a fuck about someone else? And now we're into very, very deep conversation about the difference between men and women, which, yeah, I'm more than happy to have this conversation. Thank you, Tef. Thanks for trolling. Thanks for trolling. Yeah. What's fucking birds got to do with it? I heard that they're fake anyway. I heard that they're all just government drones. To be genuinely valuable assistance to another, one must understand the interests of the person being helped and, of course, assist in light of those interests. We often refer to such displays of service as altruistic, wherein the advocate possesses a compassionate, egoless, and selfless disposition. If one's act is perverted by self-interest, one runs the risk of providing a diminished quality of aid. The assistance may be valuable, perhaps in light of one's own personal psychology. However, the intervention may not be advantageous in light of the interests of another. If we presuppose the necessity of maintaining an altruistic posture and advocating for another, the question is as follows. To what extent is it possible to protect against one's felt emotional harm stemmed from the advocate's conscious and unconscious self-interest? Whether self-interest manifests itself and supposed altruism is a question linked to human psychology and has been variously explored throughout the history of philosophy. The question of advocacy and the conditions under which it occurs inform much of our analysis in present article. I don't know the first bird you said, Tef. Is that ostriches? CBD King. CBD King, there's an entire conspiracy theory that you can find on the internet, and there's been like planned rallies around this whole like birds aren't real thing. It's pretty funny. Oh, Tef. Oh, here we go. That was Cash. I'm about to say, like, Tef, why did you say that? I don't get it. But yeah, Cash said basically the bird's comment is a philosophical idea that explains that my question was about men and not women. I thought it was clear. Never mind, LOL. Well, there was a qualifier in there. More. So, even though you're asking about men, by putting the qualifier more means that there's a reference to something else other than men. So what else is it than men? I mean, are you comparing men to birds? Why are men more analytical than birds? I mean, probably because birds have brains that are like that big, Very, nice seasonal music. Let's turn it up. Hey Danny, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. CBD Queen, thank you for all those hearts. You have 50 fan noise. Talking about the semonics here. I mean, even the semonics of gender, like that's what we're talking about, and this is cool. It's valid, like again, I don't think you're trolling at all. I think you are telling me your genuine truth, and that's great. We have different experiences, Cash System. We have. And so through our different perspectives, me being a woman that's come up through this system and you being a man coming up through this system, of course, it's going to be really hard for us to agree. And when we're talking about the semiotics of gender, when we're talking about these things, it's going to be really hard for us to agree. So I understand. The most important thing is for us to listen to each other. And I hope I listened to you. I know I have very strong opinions because in this argument, I'm the one that's fighting up the hill. That imbalance of power that I'm talking about within this system has I'm at a disadvantage in this conversation. But, I listen. And I hope you're listening to me. Obviously you are, because you're still here, so I appreciate that, Cash System. Hi, who's your dad? Welcome in. Hey, good to see you again. Listen to each other mutes everything. But hey, Tep, Tep and I, we have conversations about this all the time. And Tep is a good friend here, and he does not have very strong opinions about the gender roles between men and women. But I'm constantly having to talk to Tep about, I know it's hard for you to understand what I'm struggling with and what I'm trying to talk about when I talk about the patriarchy, because it's like, you know, when you try to talk to people about race, you try to talk to Europeans about the discourse of racism in the United States. People in Europe just don't understand it. It's like really hard for them to understand the discourse. Yeah, so I think it's very similar kind of analogy. Oh, that's an interesting cash system. I don't know. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of patriarchy woven in there because, like, so from the woman's perspective, growing up in the current system that we're in, it's unfortunate, but, you know, unless there's feminism involved, but even like I said earlier, feminism has a lot of internalized misogyny in it as well. Like our worth and our security is dependent on having a relationship because of this whole idea that you have this idea that that like women are the breeders and men are the supporters of the breeders. But I mean, even if we are just breeders, we could breed with someone and say, see you later. And you know what? More and more women are doing that, which is awesome. But, you know, I think that could be it. See you later. Thanks for the breed juice. See you next time. Hey, we all struggle, Tef. We all struggle. But you know what I tell you every time, Tef? I'm like, all you gotta do is listen. That's all I'm asking you to do. Like, I'm not asking you to, like, try to say anything specific, or you have to, like, respond, or you have to apologize every time. Just listen. Just, like, validate. If a woman communicates, you know, a struggle she's having with being heard or with being respected, just listen. Like, you're not going to have the answers. Just like, you know, as we're talking about the problem of racism in the United States, like, there is nothing we can do, like, immediately. People say there's things to do, but, like, even whenever people are saying there's things to do, like, first step is we gotta listen. And, like, then we can move on from there. Like, first and foremost, we have to validate, okay, this is true. This imbalance of power, this disrespect is happening. Now, how do we move on from here? Hey, Ricky Moon, you're 29! You're 29, Ricky Moon! Are you like my strange techno? Oh, thank you, Taff. Cheers. Yeah, all you gotta do is listen. And validate. Listen and validate. That's it. Like, of course, there's more that we need to do, but the first thing, which tends to be the hardest thing, is to listen and validate. So why don't men want a relationship generally more often than women? Because the current system, like the adverse of what happens to women. Oh, it's good, Ricky Moon, you're 29. You're just one away from 30. You're almost there. Move over European on my leg. I don't get it, CBD King. Fake birds most likely won't multiply, so try meeting some if you get offspring. Wait, what? Go look for the bird eggs? Women are breeding with strange men because they've got the support they need to begin breeding. Yes. Breeding. on, it's Friday night, Ricky. Friday night, you should be in a good mood. You should be in a good mood. You know, and that is there's a biological difference there. I'll validate that there's a biological difference, even if a man does want to breed. Because, yeah, there are men. There's men that they do. They want to breed. Even if there are men that want to breed, their, like, timeline is very different than women. Yeah, you're almost to level 30. And that affects psychology. That affects characteristics. I'll give you that. Yeah, of course I'm unaware of the male perspective. I've never experienced it. You know what I have experienced? That I'm pulling on to talk about this is being white within a racist system, right? So that's what I can compare to. And I'll tell you what, I had no idea the deep implications of racism until just recently. And I'm like, I'm a freaking person, like, I did the Peace Corps. I lived in a rural village for 2 years in Africa. I've lived in Asia. I've learned lots of different languages. I've lived among different groups. I've been a minority myself. I thought I experienced all those things. How old am I? I'm 38 years old. How old are you, Cash System? Oh, y'all are still running your sales CBD King? That's awesome. Close but no cigar. You're almost there. Yeah, I'm 38. So I'm just making a connection between my experience of being a white woman and only just now, like in my late 30s, I'm just starting to break into understanding the context of oppression and privilege that I have, of like not having to be exposed, being able to turn those things off my entire life. Oh, thanks, Cash System. 42, awesome. How old are you, Cash System? Aside from the traditional debate concerning altruism versus egoism, one way to explore the possibility of providing selfless assistance is within the context of the gift as a metaphor. Indeed, advocacy is an act of giving help to someone who demonstrates a need or desire for that help. In addition, a gift is something bestowed upon someone that appears to be the fruit of an unadulterated act of kindness or selfless human compassion. Thus, we note that the fundamental difference between advocacy and the gift is that the latter is not always a response to a demonstrated need. Notwithstanding this distinction, the value of the metaphor is not compromised. Advocacy and the gift are acts of giving ideally motivated by selfless interests. If an advocate is one who helps another in need, advocacy might be understood as the gift of assistance that follows. As such, it is prone to many of the same psychological undercurrents prevalent in gift-giving philosophy. Oh, you're 27. Cool. Your age has nothing to do with it, just like my age has nothing to do with anything, and you know, how yikes is, you know, associated with what age you think I look like is not associated with anything. That was just asking your age because you asked my age. It's only a friendly thing to do. Oh, y'all got Christmas sales. Yeah, you're talking about those Delta 8 gummies. The purpose of the present critique is to employ the metaphor of the gift in an attempt to better comprehend the act of advocacy for the mentally ill. In this context, we pay particular attention to the motivational forces that thwart or frustrate prospects for forensic representation. Absent self-interest, thereby jeopardizing the value of the gift and the quality of the proffered assistance. To facilitate an examination of these matters, we approach the concept of the gift principally from a philosophical perspective, relying on those observations which advance the logic of gift giving. Thus, selected but targeted insights from Hobbes, Emerson, and Nietzsche, respectively, are considered. Each scholar uniquely informs our understanding of the gift and the giving practices. In addition, we can contend that these philosophical observations, although only provisional and provisionally enumerated, provide a suitable framework from within which to semiotically investigate the gift of a sign. The gift as a sign. So semiotics concerns itself with identifying the underlying and evolving meanings communicated by language and thought. Our analysis is intimately wedded to the psychological dynamics which motivate gift-giving behavior. Alright, I'm gonna skip a lot of this like background info. Maybe the egoism part we'll look at. Hey Archie, are you Grinchin'? Does your age make you more attractive? I don't think so. I think maturity level is what's most important. But yeah, I'll give it to you that like because women's reproductive facilities on a different time schedule than men, but you know, men still is, you know, older men having children is not like super common. Like, you know, the sperm does change over time, but you know, like women's, yeah, definitely it changes the timeline of, you know, if they're choosing to breed or not breed does affect. Thank you, CBD King, appreciate you. But maybe it could. You know, men within a patriarchy, yeah, they don't give a shit about maturity. Because they just give a shit about submission. And in many cases, maturity in women make them less and less submissive. Perhaps the best way to understand the ethico-philosophical dimensions of the gift underscoring our present inquiry is through a cursory assessment of psychological egoism. There is an important distinction to be made between psychological egoism and ethical egoism. The latter is a normative stance concerning how we ought to live rather than how we do live. The former is the intra-psychic stance reflecting an inherent inevitability wherein one expresses or enacts one's egoistic concerns. Okay, I want to understand that more. You don't like Christmas, Ricky? Well, I'm sorry about that. I hope that you're able to get through this Christmas season with as little Christmas as possible. That's not a logical caste system, your last comment. I don't understand how identifying something makes me a victim of it. I'm not a victim of it. I could be, but fuck it. Fuck the patriarchy. Yeah, fuck patriarchy, fuck racism, fuck classism. Yeah, I don't think talking about it is going to manifest it, because I'm talking about it in a way where we need to deconstruct it. So that's what I'm trying to manifest. I'm trying to manifest the deconstruction of it. And I'm not, trying to manifest a matriarchy, because I don't want you or others to feel as if there's going to be some type of demotion of power towards men. Because I'm not saying that at all. I think men are very powerful. I think men are very intelligent. I think men are strong. I think men have a lot of value. Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that if we're living in that society, it's better to be liked than it's better to be truthful. Maybe. It's true. Because this society is negative for men too. It's not just negative for women. Men get held back. Fucking like dedicating all of your life and all of your energy and all of your anxieties and all of your everything towards trying to accumulate wealth so that you can be more attractive to a woman that's going to be submissive to you. Bye, Ricky. See you next time. That seems like kind of oppressive. Versus like dedicating your energy and your life to like what truly makes you happy. Which if reading is the thing that you want, then yeah, do that. But like trying to like put yourself into a position where you're better liked, you're more attractive towards women so they'll be submissive to you, like that being an end goal, that seems pretty shitty. Compared to like the end goal being like your autonomy and even if you don't give a shit about truthfulness. But I think truthfulness is pretty rad. It's pretty rad. I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna read this again. Because there's a difference. There's a difference between psychological egoism and ethical egoism. Ethical is concerning how we ought to live rather than how we do live. Psychological egoism is an intrapsychic stance reflecting an inherent inevitability wherein one expresses or enacts one's egoistic concerns. Rather, in the interest of examining the unconscious dynamics underpinning human action, we briefly examine some of the earlier conceptions of human motivation, which proposed an inherent egoistic nature. Psychological egoist questions the possibility of acting altruistically. That is, of acting purely with regard for the interests of others. Honesty, truthfulness. We could branch into this. So our friend here on Reddit is saying that that's a female characteristic. If we want to put in terms of the male-female experience of what we're talking about here. That is to ask, can our actions at times be motivated purely by our concern for the welfare of others without some manifestation of primary self-interest in our actions? Those questions of self-interest factored significantly into the classical era of philosophical speculation. The establishment of egoism as psychologically predetermined and consequently inescapable received its first detailed and philosophically animated treatment in the work of Thomas Hobbes. Hobbes' theory rests on one core assumption: human beings, when acting voluntarily, will be egotistically motivated. In other words, all human actions are rooted in self-interest, but the very possibility of being motivated otherwise is forbidden by the structure of our fundamental psychological makeup. All self-serving. But like, I mean, what if you're self-serving? This is what I've always asked, you know, because I used to be like, I'll confess, I used to be extremely conservative in my ideas. Hey Randy, welcome in. Good to see you. Congrats on level 2. My name is Elise. Yeah, we're talking about advocacy and altruism and egoism. But yeah, I used to be extremely conservative, and I spent a good couple of years highly involved in several different organizations that were also very conservative and celebrated egoism, celebrated the ego, which I think is actually a very healthy thing to do. I still believe that, even though, you know, my philosophy has changed significantly since then. But even back then, I asked the questions of like, I see egoism, like, I see altruism having a place with egoism. Oh, thank you, Randy. Yeah, I'm definitely not some girl dancing. Quite the opposite. But that, like, what if your egoism is stemmed from a deep passion and understanding and concern about the interconnectedness of everything? That, like, maybe we would choose to help the environment or choose to help other people in our community, knowing that their wellness and their thriving is going to contribute to my wellness and my thriving. It's still ego. It's still my ego being concerned with my outcome. You know, I don't hear a lot of that in the in those circles where I was. It was like some objectivist group. I was really into Ayn Rand when I was younger, and I found my way into some interesting conferences and such. But I would always ask questions like that. It's like, well, hey, what if my ego wants to help people because I'm worried that if I don't, that it's going to negatively impact me? Like, maybe my self-interest, there's self-interest, but it's like genuine, that like it's connected to the interest of somebody else or something else. Hobbes' conceptualizations on the self are artfully depicted in passages of his work on human nature from 1650, in which he defines both charity and pity. These ideas are particularly important for our purposes. Indeed, they anticipate future developments in the logic of gift and the motivational aspects of advocacy. With regard to the former, Hobbes deconstructs the prevalent sentiment of neighborly love, finding charity to be a veiled form of egoism. As he describes it, there can be no greater argument to a man of his own purpose, of his own power, than to find himself able not to accomplish his own desires, but also to assist other men in theirs. And this is that conception wherein consisteth charity. Wow, cool. I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm gonna bookmark it and I'll read it. I am reading an article right now. Like, Friday nights I do like usually an academic dive into a certain topic. The Whisper in Your Heart. Ghetto Glory family, thank you for the like. Welcome in. Good to see you again. Did y'all get your tea? Did you get your tea? Okay, so it's a pop song, so I need to put in the author's name. Listen to your, oh no, what is it? The Whisper in Your Heart. I guess it's a song. I thought, oh, it's a book. It's a pop song. I was about to play it. How-to manual for finding and using a powerful ability of the human mind that is very ancient but little understood. This ability can guide us through life changes and provide us with our own unique answers to life's ever-present questions. Have you ever wondered why there are those who seem to have an inside track for successful living? What guides them? Cool. So it's like a motivation. All right, so you ask, have you ever think that maybe that the whole, okay, yeah, did you ever think that the whole contribution and self-preservation shows itself when you visit something like that? I don't know how to describe your experience as an anecdote within these realms, but I don't know how involved you were, whether it was a seminar, educational, whatever. Yeah, I was just an attendee. But I stopped being an attendee because then whenever I would ask questions, like the one I asked about, like, can self-serving, is there a place for philanthropy within self-service? If you're doing it, because like I was like, when I was like 20, it was like 22 years old, and I was going through these conferences. I mean, I was like 20 at this time, and I was going to these conferences, and I was like, in the back of my mind, like, I was very much like A is A, B is B, you know, type of black and white. That's how I was, like, that's why I like associated with this philosophy and connected with it. But still in the back of my mind, maybe because I'm a woman, I'm just a chick, I'm just one of those girls, I like freaking can't stop from helping to think of like, oh, this business's activities is affecting a water supply that is going to affect this business's future activities, and is going to affect the community, which is the workforce for this company. So, you know, because these people, they were very anti, like, government regulation. At that time, I was studying government regulation. I'm a food scientist, so I was, like, studying FDA regulations and these things, and really understanding how important certain regulations are. And, you know, these people, they would say, oh, well, capitalism and competition will save everything because, you know, a business is going to be smart enough to not want to kill their customers, so they will inevitably take care of it. But there's still a lot of really shitty decisions being made by companies that are discounting the costs for communities or for environment or for people, that in the end are actually going to negatively impact the company. Like, yeah, their earnings this year are going to be great, but, you know, 20 years down the line, they're going to have, and we're fucking seeing it right now with this inflation and with the great resignation that they're calling it, like, people not wanting to go back to work because people are like, yeah, fuck it, I don't need this. I don't need this. And then they're saying, oh, well, you know, these companies would treat us better, we wouldn't be in this spot. And so that's where, like, the altruism could potentially be, you know, self-serving. Oh, and Cassius wants to teach me what a woman is. I'm gonna read you all on the internet. Sorry, my OBS is way too hard to keep up with the comments right now. what it was interesting to think about. I wanted your opinion. No, it's totally on the same topic. No title. It's good. Thank you for bringing that. PT meetings. PT. What is PT? What does the article mean underneath the level of consciousness awareness? Alright, let's see the etymology. I never looked at this. Thank you for... I love etymology, so thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is just like all the history being written by the word that you're so triggered by. Of course, it's subordinate. It's fucking patriarchy. Mcclure family, thanks for being around. Molly girl, welcome in. Oh, parent teacher, okay. That's what I was like, what? No, yeah, I think, yeah, parent involvement in education is super important. If I have children, I actually would like to teach them myself. I'd like to, you know, form some type of social structure for them to engage with the local community, but I want to be super involved in that. The impact of those things are only social egoism. The impact of, like, parent-teacher meetings? They put women on an imaginary pedestal for no reason. If it's like this subordinate relationship that you've been talking about, why the fuck wouldn't you want to put your top worker, your top employee, your top servant, why wouldn't you want to put them, you know, as a proud piece of your property? On the bottom half of the second paragraph, it says the Freud... Okay, I haven't got there yet. Let's get there. Let's get back to the article. Thank you for getting me back to the article. Okay, gift aspects of it. With regard to the former, Hodds deconstructs the prevalent sentiment of neighborly love following charity to be veiled form of egoism. Okay, so we talked about charity. Okay, I'm like totally anti-charity. I'm totally anti like stewardship and dominion. These are all the sources of the problems that we've been talking about here, cash system. Guarded by a dragon. Hey, Jim. I'm sorry. Oh, dragons, cool. Actions motivated by concern for others are those which Hobbes refers to as charity, to which he might add altruism, assistance, intervention, and to that effect advocacy. For Hobbes, charity is nothing more than one taking some delight in one's own power. The charitable man is demonstrated to himself and to the world that he is more capable than others. He can not only take care of himself, he has enough left over for others who are not able to do as he. He is really just showing off his own superiority. Yes! Yes! That's totally one of the reasons why I'm like, I mean, yeah, charity is just so... It's so serving to the person doing it because of this. Because it's like, not only can I, take care of myself, I'm taking care of them. I know what's better for them as well. Jim, thank you for the LOL and happy. Christina, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. But it can be debilitating to the people receiving the charity. I was in the Peace Corps. Like, I have some very, very deep experiences with this and issues with this. Okay, so let's get back to at the bottom of the second paragraph. How it doesn't involve a larger view and our opinions still shape one. Okay, so PTA or raising kids, I'm talking about caring about politics, local politics, your state, provinces, tax distribution, where you go to college, economics, and so on. How it doesn't involve a larger view and our opinions still shape one. And so you're saying that this is all just social egoism. No, that's a valid. We go to class or read something just like we're fucking doing right now, and we pick apart the world when it's only relative. Like, it doesn't really fucking matter. You're right. Yeah. You're right about that. But then at the same time, I don't think it's futile. Like, I think, I think that if you're going into these kinds of activities thinking as if you're God and you're going to, like, solve all the problems, then it's problematic. Then it's like the problematic kind of egoism. But if you're dissecting these things with the understanding that you have only a limited perspective and so much more to learn, and with the true intention that, you can't even think about, oh yeah, just what we're doing right now is just a small little step for the bigger picture. You can't even be thinking about that as you're doing it. You have to be doing it knowing that, like, this is just a small little drop you give because you have the means. Well, that's great, Jim. That's good. You got the means. You're free to do as you want. To feel as if that giving is, like, inherently just making everybody else better is something I'd caution against. Like, if you're going to give because of your means, that's great, but you really want to be effective, asking more questions is always good. Yeah, you gain experience, all things. You gain experience. It's true. But you can't think like, oh, my experience is superior to someone else's. But that's where it becomes a problem. Oh, it's not to make you feel good. Well, I'd hope that you do things to make yourself feel good. Like, and that's okay too. That's my argument for egoism. That, like, it is okay to do things that make you feel good. And, like, contributing your means, contributing your resources, contributing your value towards, helping something else that will indirectly come back to support you to have a better life is, like, I think you can be empowered from that. Thanks for the follow, Alexandria Lee. Alexandria. It's nice to meet you. My name is Elise. People you learned from felt like that in the past, or is it too bloggy and personal to say? Like they knew they were right. Do you think the people you learned from felt like that in the past? They felt like what they were teaching me was just a little drop? Some people, and those people are the teachers that I like really value. Oh, Jim, thank you for the rabbit. So cute. Well, I hope he doesn't poop on me. Like they knew they were right. See, yeah. I didn't fare well with my teachers that gave me that vibe, gave me that energy of like they knew they were right. I didn't vibe well with those teachers. I vibed well with the teachers that were freaking humble to themselves. You know what really gets me excited? And I've like, even as an adult and as someone who is often sought out as a teacher, you know, for business, for tea, you know, I often get contact from people that want me to be their teacher. Is, yeah, like, where I'm in a situation and my teacher is like treating me like I'm the teacher. I think that's great. And actually, my friend Ray, she's in London. She's in the tea business. She's a practitioner of tea. She's incredible. She's given the terminology, instead of saying teacher-student relationship, like dynamic teacher-student, is facilitator. So, you know, because like a lot of people ask her about Sure. Hey, Cassius, I'm going to put my email here, my email address. I mean, you can follow me, you can message me here on Reddit, but you're also welcome to email me. Oh, fuck. I'm not going to do this, actually, because I don't want to freaking... I think freaking, Reddit's, like, really bad about, is really bad about, what do you call it? Doxing yourself. I don't want Reddit to think I'm doxing myself right now, but here, I put my email here. It's a public email, don't worry. But any of y'all can email me at this address, and if you want to continue this conversation, you're welcome. But I stream a lot, you know, I stream quite often, so, you know, you can come back another time, and we can talk about this topic over and over again. I don't give a shit. Like, it's important, we need to talk about it. Every person that mentioned getting old or aging could have less metaphorical or whatever and said to us that 80 years isn't anything, neither is 800. Well, you know what I'm like telling people? Because the information that I was told about aging when I was growing up as a kid was very bad advice, I think. I'm in the tea business for over 10 years, Alexandria. But they tell you, oh, you know, you've got your whole life to live. You got your whole life to live. You know, and I think feminism that I grew up around was a part of that, telling me, oh, you have your whole life to live. Don't worry about doing these things. You got so much of your life. And, you know, now that I'm almost 40, I mean, I'm 38, so, you know, I'm almost 40. I'm almost getting up to that point, you know, that symbolic point of midlife. And I'm like, man, I really should have been, you know, calculating my timing on things, especially my younger friends. So, like, I have a lot of younger friends that are, like, in their late 20s that are really struggling, like, finding their bearings of, like, where they should be, what they should be doing. And they are still receiving the same advice from their parents, from their elders, whatever. Oh, you got plenty of your life to live. Don't worry about it now. You got plenty of your life to live. And I'm like, you know, like, the life expectancy in our country is actually going down. Like, no longer is 40 officially your midlife. Like, now I think it's, like, on average, like, 37.7 years is midlife. Oh, cash system, don't even bring that shit over here. Don't bring that shit over here. Why do I need a boyfriend? How is my value associated with having a boyfriend or not having a boyfriend? Nuh-uh, not even. Don't even bring that here. And so I tell my friends, like, I have a friend that's like 26 or 27, and he was like, oh, quarter life. I'm in my quarter life. I got plenty of time. And I'm like, no, you don't, dude. No, you don't. Like, 10 years, you're going to be at midlife. Like, that is, like, one advice on aging that I don't know. Like, for some reason, people the past few decades have really been trying to, like, and I think to women in particular, you know, the feminist movement has been telling women to, like, not be, like, fighting against that timeline. I say don't be ashamed, you know? Freaking plan your life, even when you're older. Yeah, thanks for your misogyny, cash system. That's misogyny right there, what you're saying with me right there. I have no problem with aging. I'm just like, I'm sick of seeing 26-year-olds and 27-year-olds saying, oh, I'm only in my quarter life. I've got my whole life left to live. It's like, How did you get to the point where you looked clueless to a 27-year-old that gave up on trolling? Who gave up on trolling? Don't give up on trolling. Hey, DJ Road Warrior, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hellos, hellos, hellos. I'm having a very heated conversation with the internet right now. Don't let people tell you that you have your whole life. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's a valuable sentiment. It is a valuable sentiment. You know, as we get bogged down with the day-to-day and, like, feel like the end is now and, like, everything is ruined, like, I think it's really healthy to understand the perspective of, like, oh, this is just one small moment of the rest of my life. But to, like, grow up and just completely neglecting all of your important life work. And I'm not just talking about a job and collecting money. Fuck that patriotic bullshit. I'm talking about... I'm talking about, like, providing security for yourself, learning life skills, the important life skills, and thinking, oh, I'll just adult when I'm older, or I'll learn those things when I'm older. I have my whole life. Like, that's... Oh, so Jonelle peeps in. She says, whenever the question comes up, what would you tell your younger self? My answer is always do everything sooner. That's a good sentiment. You know, that's related to what I'm talking about. I didn't really grow up with that sentiment. I mean, I kind of did. Like, I was talking about this yesterday, how, like, my maturity growth is kind of staggered because I made certain life choices. Hey, Fletch, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Jazzy in Boston, welcome in. Happy Friday night. Yeah, it's misogynistic. Cash system is misogynistic. You saying that, like, you're attracted to women because of, like, their desirability is a disdain for women. You saying that, like, me not having a boyfriend at my age is unattractive is misogyny. Like, that is disdain towards women. That's disrespectful. No title, that's funny. Funny observation. you're fine now, Jim? Well, good for you. I'm glad to see that. You saw an article yesterday in the news. They said that it was like probably around 700,000 undiagnosed cancer cases right now in British Columbia right now because people not getting routine checkups. So that's interesting. Yeah, lots of people not going to the doctor. Lots of people not taking care of their health because they're like, oh, I have my whole life to take care of this thing. Why do I need to work on it now? And it's like, yeah. Yeah, please, everyone, take care of your health no matter your age. It's super important. So everyone said party in college in 20s was right because everyone in their 30s looked like the old version of when they were a teen. Or before teen years, depending on your life. Do you regret going to college because it makes you old early in a way? Maybe. Maybe. That's an interesting question. Yeah, drink tea every day. That's good. Actually, some study just came out that's like kind of getting some viral loops about drinking tea reducing likelihood of cognitive issues such as Alzheimer's, dementia by like 50% or something crazy like that. So yeah, drink tea. It'll help. I mean, it can't not help. Yeah, so attractiveness and like sexual attraction and perception of beauty in and of itself is not misogynistic, but like telling a woman that her worth to men is associated specifically to their beauty is misogynistic. Because what the fuck are your standards relevant to anybody else's standards? Nothing. They're unique. Like, your opinion about someone's attractiveness or beauty is just for you. But you're making very broad statements about how my attractiveness to the male perspective, the male gaze, which is a very misogynistic term, that is not valid. You are allowed to not find me attractive personally. You are. That is not misogynistic for you to do that. More than likely, the reason why you find me unattractive is probably misogynistic, but like, your unattractive to me is not misogynistic in and of itself. But you saying that like my value towards men or my value towards the male perspective is that's not valid. And that's just hateful. That's just disrespectful. Thank you, DJ Road Warrior. Hey, the man, welcome back in. Good to see you. Thanks for the like. If that's how college made you, did that alter your life in a negative way? Yeah, gay men can be misogynistic, yes. Yes, gay men can be misogynistic. Women can be misogynistic. I used to be misogynistic. I used to be like, oh, I'm really intelligent, I'm a really good leader, I get invited into like male-only circles because of that, and I would get exposed to things that I was uncomfortable with in these male-dominated circles, such as, hey, let's all go to the strip club. And if I kept my mouth shut and I just giggled and laughed when they were having their fun and doing their thing, even though in my own mind I was completely uncomfortable and completely did not like the experience, I was being a pick-me. There's a term now, Gen Z's come up with this term, pick-me girl. You know, I was like seeking male validation by being like the cool chick that could hang out and bro out. And in doing that, I was hateful towards women. I was hateful towards other women. I was misogynistic. I had internalized misogyny. All people like looks. I like looks. Cash system, I probably think you're ugly. And that's okay. I'm allowed to think that for myself. I also think looks are valuable. Women also like looks. Oh yeah, no title, really good. So you're talking about obesity, fat shaming. That's also a part of the patriarchy. Yep. A man is allowed to say, okay, yeah, no, my preference is a certain body size. But for like some man to say, oh, you're obese, so you're unattractive to all men, that's not true, because there are some men that are attracted to that. Oh, you took women's studies classes in college? I did not. I wish I did. I did not. I'm a scientist. I took all like, you're the hottest dude ever. That's funny. Pikachu, welcome in. A pick me. Yeah, Alexandria, it's a new term. It's a brand new term. But it's like internalized misogyny. They say it's like, it's like a girl that'd be like, well, I'm different than other girls. Like, I'm not like those other girls that are just like girly and doing girly things and being all dramatic and over emotional. Like, I'm cool. I can skateboard. I can go hang out with you in the strip club. And I'm gonna be cool. And like, you end up like not being your true self and hating women and yourself. Gotcha. So I'm having a lot of fun reading your comments. It's cool. I'm listening. You say really, that's fine. But if you like looks the way men like looks, then you would not be single. Yeah, because all y'all are ugly. I ain't found one looking good. Y'all are just all ugly. DJ Roder, I appreciate your honesty. You all ugly. Will you say something I can put in my song? All the women single because all the men ugly. You're too ugly to break the camera. No, DJ, you're a good looking man. You're a good looking man. You're having a blast. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Oh, you're high? That's good. What are you high on? Yeah, a lot of women don't get along with other women because of this whole internalized misogyny thing. When you have a good girlfriend, that's great. Oh, you're gonna do Christmas trivia with me? That's awesome. I'll be there. So high right now. Awesome. Yo, local. We get women with our mind. What do you think, Bitcoin? Yeah, men get women with looks as well. No title. Thanks for having my back with no title. Thank you. Are you gonna go live? Alright, cool. I'll come check you out. Pikachu coming in with his... Pikachu, your friend Cash System is over here. I think y'all will get along. You aren't that ugly, DJ. I've seen lots of pictures of you. It seemed as if the camera wasn't broken. Well, looks and money specifically, power within a patriarchal society, power is imbalance. Your reform. What about that, Jim? The reform. You are reformed. Oh, reformed. Yeah, I'm a reformed misogynist. I'm still deconstructing it. Like, I still do that shit sometimes. I'm guilty of it, just like I'm still guilty of ignorance when it comes to the oppression of other marginalized groups, not just women. And it's weird as a woman, like, how you can do it, but it's freaking happening all the time. That's why, like, cattiness in women, it's all because of this. We get women with our looks because of the idea behind it. There's some discourse on TikTok that's been kind of interesting, and yeah, I'm gonna admit, I receive a lot of relevant information from TikTok, but there's some really cool discourse going on there right now about like good looks of men. The like, do you think of like the Hollywood definition, the Hollywood presentation of like hot men are like buff, and they're like, you know, it's like Jason Momoa, like, which is like, at the end of the day, like, a lot of women are arguing that, like, that representation of attractiveness, of good looking, is actually the male gaze. It's not for the female gaze. And if it was for the female gaze, good looks would look very different than what you think good looks. What am I advocating? I'm advocating for fuck the patriarchy. That's what I'm advocating for. I trust no title. Take my power. No, I want to give you your power. I want to give you your power. Yeah, Bitcoin's here, Jonelle. Jonelle's still here. Oh, that's great, Jim. You objectify men, Jonelle? What does that mean? Please expand. Oh shit, someone brought up Alec Baldwin. Come on, this is not the place to talk about that. You're not offended by better looking men? Yeah, you shouldn't be. Is matriarchy any better? Good question. Hey, Pikachu, thank you for becoming a mini-fan. The many men that they're into their looks might be into men too. Well, that's what this discourse about, you know, the male gaze versus the female gaze. You're past. Okay, I'm going up. Flower buff and Port Palms. Wow. Prove me wrong. What? Who you calling bitch? Oh, you're just making a joke? Do you have a profile picture? Let's see. No, you don't. How do I know how good looking you are? I can't even tell how good looking you are. Super handsome, prove me wrong. I look super good. Someone on Reddit, Pikachu, someone on Reddit, somebody who's like having a very deep conversation. Yo no estoy gay. Okay. Yeah, let's just give matriarchy a try. Yeah. Just so handsome I don't need a photo. I did not get it, Groot, and I didn't even get like a post on the door or anything. Thank you for the heart. Okay, I'm gonna catch up. Listen to 89 Godzilla. Discourse. Would I sleep with a guy if they were just his looks? Nope. Female gaze. The dog, he's just He's napping. He's cuddling and napping. When is it legal to enact insurrection? I don't think it ever is, Pikachu. I missed your comments. Yeah, you're gonna go do your trivia. You said you got your boxes and you're gonna go do your trivia. I saw that, the man. What am I talking about? So I'm talking about the psychology of advocacy and like, ooh, everybody gone surfing. I'm talking about like egoism and altruism, and trolling affecting society. And somebody on Reddit, brought up gender roles and gender perspectives. We're having a very deep conversation here on Reddit. It's very good. Commence the matriarch. Yeah. People are inherently in chaos. So that's an interesting statement that hasn't been thrown into the ring yet. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if I agree. Let's be intersectional. Yes! That's what it comes down to. I've been trying to like bring the concept into this conversation all night. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but that's it. Oh, Janelle. Okay, I see, Janelle, what you're talking about. I don't think that's objectifying. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that objectifying. Now, if you start sexualizing them and you start having non-consensual thoughts about somebody that they didn't consent to, then that would be objectifying. But like, just admiring someone's beauty in and of itself, I don't think is objectifying. And so that's why I'm telling my friend here on Reddit that they are welcome to make their decisions about the opposite sex or the sex that they're attracted to or the people that they're attracted to through looks. You're allowed to do that. But to make overarching statements about somebody's worth being associated to their looks, like that's when you start going into disrespect. But, if my airtime ends, yeah, I mean, if the conversation's still going, yeah, if y'all want to see the Twitch, I am on Twitch here too. DJ. I don't know. Alright, so you gotta go, family. I'm appreciative that you came tonight. Love ya. Am I doing anything for Christmas? Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to go to Europe, but I think I'm gonna be canceling my trip, so I'm just gonna be here working. So then we need to know what makes insurrection legal. The winner? Yeah, Pikachu. I think so. That's why, like, I don't know if we should really be, like, focusing on, like, oh, everything needs to be legal or illegal. If you truly believe something is right, but you need to be prepared for the consequences and should be thinking about the whole picture versus, oh, I'm just thinking for myself, or I'm just thinking how this is affecting just one part. But yeah, it's like the gun. So I was having this conversation about guns again with some different people, and someone says, "Oh, you know what? Like in the Wild West, carrying guns was illegal, but people carried guns. But like they were, like they were consciously doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and there would be consequences for them if." It came down to it. coined it. Yeah. Yeah, Second Amendment is to stop tyranny. Yeah, but a lot of the gun usage we see in this country is not fighting tyranny. It's just hate. Yeah, I didn't get the mint. Whistling at a woman now is law, so don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. Worth and looks have nothing to do with each other. Life experiences do. Good point, Jonelle. Yeah, our worth and our value is much more associated with our actions and our experiences. Looks are like, they can be important. But yeah, it's harassment group. Oh, you liked that movie, DJ? Alright, see you, the man. So what's the progress on an itty bitty bikini line being sold at Tila? No progress, Pikachu. Not because I would think that selling bikinis is misogynistic. I love bikinis. I would love if bikinis became like super normalized and not sexualized, you know, by default. Alright, I'm catching up on Reddit's comments. I'm getting up. Looks is all society pushes. True that. So you are basically saying thank you to dismiss the male perspective. Thank you. So why should men be forced to understand the female perspective if you and all women refuse to understand the male perspective? I feel like I understand it. I feel like I understand it. I mean, I freaking excelled at it. I mean, I pretty much, when I had internalized misogyny myself, I pretty much excelled at the male perspective. Not many men in my life understand the female perspective. But I do appreciate the ones that are putting the effort, and I'll be honest, I feel like you are. Cash, I feel like you are, so thank you. Do you envision a future when your definition of boundaries are fully embraced socially? Oh my god, Tara, yes. I do envision that future. That is like such a totally possible future, and I talk about that a lot on my stream. The communicating the boundaries. And I like to talk about it in the perspective of thinking about your boundaries. Hey Pikachu, Pikachu's so famous, yeah. I like to talk about the perspective of boundaries being like a S system or like a fractal system. Where like if you have a solid set of boundaries, and they don't have to be plentiful, they could be very simple boundaries and you can add to them as you go through life. But if you have a really solid set of boundaries or rules that you can like go about your life and interact with infinite amounts of complexity, and feel safe that like it's being, these fractals of experience are actually creating a beautiful overarching image. Right? Insurrection is never legal by definition. Thank you for that, no title. You have to do it in a responsible manner. If the insurrection were to be real, you need to start with the cops and with that fact. Undergrad vibes. What future do you envision, Tara? A future filled with lies and arrogance? Oh my gosh. Yeah, if we have boundaries, yeah, we're gonna have a future with honesty, acceptance, and understanding. Yes. Lies and arrogance. I mean, that's what we're dealing with right now. Why does society push looks? Patriarchy. You like my backdrop? It's just a green screen. It's just a green screen. Boring. Double standards? Okay. I'm listening. I wanna are you talking to me or are you talking to Cash? Yeah. Yeah, no title. Okay, so no title. This is the what you brought this question about women and strained minority groups are similar, and this is where intersectionality comes in. Yep, they've been trapped. It's true, no title. Not just in the argument of women and misogyny, but like people of color, indigenous people, any type of marginalized group. When it becomes internalized, it's hard for them to even communicate. That's why, like, you know, like you bring up something about like racism to somebody you care about because you hear them say something casually that's racist, and you try to like talk about it, and they'll say something like, oh, well, I say this around my friend who is, you know, from this marginalized group all the time, and they've never corrected me. They've never told me they're offended. And it's like, it's almost as if like society has like, you know, made it very difficult for them to like share their viewpoint because they know they're not going to be heard. Men with perverse thoughts is not misogynistic, ever. Stock books. Yeah, what books do you recommend, Tara? We understand women, and for the guys that don't are the guys that live in Plato's cave. You understand women, Cash? 27-year-old man? Yeah, follow Glory Fam. Glory Fam's great. You feel like media pushes racism on the people. Well, media is a part of the system, but it's deeper and deeper. You're still there, Jim. Awesome. Thanks, Jim. See you next time, Get a Word family. Thanks for visiting, yeah. Oh yeah, Timmy, try to join the family. I love looking at bikini. Good night, Get a Word family. Yeah, Timmy, do you know how to join my family? Because I can add you in while we're here, no problem. The world has to keep moving around. We can't stop and socialize just to find out how we are. We just need a functioning society with happy people. And some people are not happy, yep, and the reason are very obviously not understood on both sides, and it leans on men with power more than women or other. Yes, that's so true. Hey, thanks for those pinkies, cool cat. Appreciate it. My money, welcome in. Yeah, it's hard to find good media. Speaking of media, that's fine. You don't have to leave a message. Let me. Are y'all keeping up with the Maxwell case? Talking about misogyny and male gaze. Oh my gosh. But you know what was so weird? none of the media has released the identity of, this. It's so easy to figure out who it is. But there's so many powerful people, all men, fucking rich white men, that are involved in the sexualization of young women. Epstein's assistant, she's on trial. It's like the 4th or 5th day. Can there be racism against whites? Okay, white people, no, actually, there cannot be racism against white people, which, is interesting because you could say something, like, individually hateful to someone and, like, relate the white color of their skin to what you're saying, but, like, racism is the oppression of a person based on the color of their skin. And, like, when you're a member of the community that's part of the supremacy side, there's no discrimination against you. So yeah, I don't believe there can be racism against white. Social media is helping shape the world into proving that nobody ever got to live enough to prove themselves. The caste system, oh my god. We got white fragility here. Yeah, come back soon. Give us some hashtags. Oh, in that case, yeah, there's definitely women involved. Well, women at least, but I'm sure other women. I've heard, I've got a friend who does some pretty deep work in human trafficking, intelligence, and policing. And he told me that, like, the great majority of people in charge is men, but that there are, like, a great list of, like, really horrific women that are involved. And it's internalized misogyny. No, it's the discrimination. It's not just hate. It's discrimination. Yeah, but Tara, like, an enabler is still responsible. Just like I'm taking my own responsibility of having my own internalized misogyny when I was a pick-me, and I would, like, watch my male friends be asses. Like, I watched my good friend who was, a venture capitalist. I watched him go down in the Me Too movement. He was the second person. He's very famous. His name is Dave Mcclure. He's a very famous venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. And he got called out. Very great detail. Women documenting their stories of how he sexually assaulted them and the power that they felt underneath him. That they had no way, that even after the events happened, they didn't come forward and say anything because they were reliant upon him writing a check for their company, right? So there was, like, this, like, really crazy power dynamic going on of why these women would not come forward and share their story. So regardless, I was good friends with him. And I watched, as we would go out party in New York City, or we'd go out and party in San Francisco. And I would watch it go down. Like, I didn't see the actual assault, but I saw the grooming. I saw what, he'd always bring, a certain girl, and he'd have to take her home. And, like, we would talk about it after he'd leave, and we'd be like, oh yeah, he's such a slime ball, like, he's married and he's totally probably trying to get with all these girls and, like, using his position of power to do that. And I never, held him accountable. Like, I definitely wasn't an accomplice in this, but an enabler for sure. And I feel terrible that I did that. So that's why, like, I've become such a strong advocate for this. It's not consensual. Even grown adults are having non-consensual sex with each other. Like, and it's common. Like, it's, like, so prevalent, and it's, like, even if you're coerced to sleep with someone because, the man gave you certain promises and told you certain things. Officially, like, if we were to go to the dictionary and look up the word rape, it's considered rape. Coercion. Rape is not only in a violent narrative, coercion, information given. A person saying, oh, thank you, this Bitcoin, he is adorable. A person using money or using, their influence to intimidate someone, that's also rape. Yeah, Tara, please help me. I do not rewatch these things. Sometimes I do. Oh yeah, he is. He's like the Taco Bell dog. Sometimes I'll rewatch these things, and I mess up all the time. And trying to get better. I mean, the only way that you can get this kind of practice is to get this kind of practice, and do these things. I'm just freaking like, all of these concepts, Tara, is like very new for me. Who are my influences? Well, that's what fucking sucks, is that there's not many. And then, like, the few people that, like, I have found inspiring, even they have shown a fault, in, like, their willingness of being a student as well. And that's why, like, I'm trying to, like, humble myself that, like, I'm a student here too, so, like, if you're willing to offer your help, you don't have to, like, you definitely don't have to, but I would appreciate it. And, like, this is a service for everybody to share in. This is not just my own selfish education going on. Like, this is education for all of us. I would like some... Alright, I'm going to look up these names. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Jim. Yeah, have a good night. Rest well. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for those recommendations. I will check them out. I've bookmarked it now. Yeah, like, I've met some people, and I've read, so, like, what is this, like, the woman that introduced me to intersectionality, she was doing a live stream one time, and I, like, tried to have some interaction with her, and She was not behaving. She was not behaving like a student. She wasn't behaving in a humble way, which humility, and I've done a study on humility in one of these types of sessions. Humility is not like a degrading self-esteem. It's not a low self-esteem. In fact, it's the opposite. It's like having so much confidence in yourself that the importance and relevance of yourself kind of dissolves. And so instead of you having like this higher ego that has to be better than other people, like you're so strong in understanding your own ego that like you want everybody to be on the same level. And it all has to do with the confidence in yourself, which is funny because people think humility involves like a lack of self-esteem. You have to always be a student to critique yourself. Well, and critique everything. Well, hopefully it doesn't say like, yeah, PH doctrine. You're not going to shave your arms and legs? Why not? Yeah, you gotta report it. Did you see a robbery group? His name is Bitcoin to me. Oh, cool. I like the hashtag. Just spandex? You gonna wear just spandex? The student shall surpass the master. It's true. They can. And the only way they're going to succeed at that is like with that humbling approach. It happens all the time, right? Isn't that like always like the moral of those crazy shows with the Karate Kid, with the Cobra Kai? Oh, we're not experts. We are students. Who are my influences? It's been a lot. It's been a lot. You know, the first reading I did that opened a lot of things up for me was Gandhi, and I know he gets a lot of slack for you know, things that happened in his life. Cheech and Chong. What about Cheech and Chong? You know, you smoke some weed or what? Oh yeah, you got your wax. Wax on, wax off. That's the Cheech and Chong. That'd be funny. Cheech and Chong made like a Karate Kid spoof. Who else beside Gandhi? Vandana Shiva, another Indian, you know, a woman. She's a seed activist. Oh, there's a Gandhi bot. Oh, that's funny. I like that one. Yeah, there's a woman named Vandana Shiva. I really like her a lot. Yeah, it's just been like a lot of my friends in my life, personal relationships that have influenced. Tea teachers, which I didn't always drink tea. I didn't always study tea. I kind of fell into it. I did study food. I'm a food scientist. That's like, I've always been super into food. But then I started studying tea in 2008. But I didn't really start studying like the kind of the spiritual aspects of tea until like 10 years ago. And boy, whew, I've met a lot of really incredible people, like through art and culture, but also practitioners of like proactive medicine, a lot of like Eastern ideologies, which I think are really valuable. I'm looking up Alan Turing now, and I don't know him. But I like learning new things, so I'm looking him up. Theoretical computer theory. What, theoretical... Oh my gosh. Providing a formalization of the concepts of algorithm and computation with the Turing machine. Oh, so he kind of like pioneered artificial intelligence. That's so cool. I'm a big fan of artificial intelligence. I really am. If you are interested in artificial intelligence and kind of the ideology behind AI and like how it can be used in society, come to my stream on Wednesday evenings. You can even see some of the playbacks of streams from before. It's called Practicing Safe Sects. Sects spelled SECTS. So practicing safe communities, safe associations of people. But we do it with 2 AI experts out of Europe that build algorithms, like social algorithms. Practicing safe virtues. Yeah, I guess so. Because, you know, if we don't practice safe sex, it's very easy to start involving extremism and, you know, like a lot of what we've seen with kind of the power of social media and the internet of different sects just like building and grouping together quickly under common missions. If we're not responsible, extremism and hate can easily get involved and cause a lot of problems. Yeah, it seems to be like a symbolic, you know, but that's cool. I'm grateful that you introduced me to his name. Yeah, I think there's a lot of power in AI. I'm not a big fan of like most applications of AI to date have been kind of not adding true value for us. AI, artificial intelligence grew. You're ice skating? Oh, dude, you're so high. Hey, Daniel, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Oh, I hate the taste of kava. Bitcoin went to go take a nap in his heater. You know, kava is not tea. Who idles women smoke? I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, Stuart, I'm sorry that I missed story time. Oh, thank you, Timmy. Nice hashtag. I don't know. Original research. That question is an interesting question, but there's a documentary on Netflix called The 13th that may help you understand a lot of the context around that question you just asked. That seems like an interesting story. I will look it up. Oh, I see. Oh, you're smoking ice? I thought you were just you're just having your wax. Do you think AI will only hurt people? I think there's opportunity for it not to hurt people. And, so that's why I kind of manifesting and putting, energy and ideas around how AI can be. Like, AI could help politicians understand the true sentiment of their constituency. Cool Cat, thank you for becoming a 500 level mini fan. Allegedly all day, every day, smoking ice. Damn, Ian. An AI bullied you? Do you think we're far from AI? I don't know. I think we're in it. We're in it. We have some pretty intelligent, advanced stuff and tools. He made an AI voters ballot program. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not like a huge history buff. Like I do like to learn things. So, you tell me a name or say something, I'm gonna look it up and get curious. Oh, thank you. Yeah, all the music is this is like original music by my friend Sojourner. Techno. If y'all are into techno, that's what we've been listening to. Kind of acidy. Intersectional feminist authors. I don't know. Do you recommend like the two that you gave me? Sojourner. I think he has a Spotify. He has like a meme sharing group on Facebook that's kind of fun. If you look this up, you'll find him. Sojourner. I'm turning this article off. So why do you bring up Pike? I don't understand relevance. I looked him up. This seems to be... I don't think that, like, so you're talking about AI is only AI if it's like a fully immersive, a fully autonomous system without the involvement of humans. I don't think it has to be that way. I think, you know, even like oh, thank you, Tara. I'm getting them. Angela Davis, that sounds familiar. I like the name of this book, Women Don't Owe You Pretty. Thank you. I have noted them as well. Egoism comes from the fact that you expect the same treatment in return. Altruism replaced by reasoning created prior to charity. And sometimes that comes from the feeling of it being the only way you can function. Okay. He started the Freemasons? I saw Freemasons on his bio. I did do a study one time on like the history of the police system in the United States, and that was fascinating because yeah, it is a racist system. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting statement. Fuck the Masons. There's a Pocochar who claims to be a Freemason. Or maybe Pikachu was spreading rumors saying that he was a Freemason. That's for charity. That's for charity. But, you know, the egoism that I was talking to earlier in the stream about, like, hey, that was before you tuned in. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was talking about, like, I feel like you were here, no title, but okay, so I was talking about an experience when I was younger and more conservative, and, you know, I was in conservative circles where egoism is, I was within, like, libertarian circles, where egoism was, like, oh, yeah, Reddit's gonna cut me off in a minute. That's what it means. Reddit's gonna cut me off in a minute. But if you want to continue, I am still on Twitch. I don't know how much longer I'll stay on. That's my Twitch channel, tlet.tv. Um, yeah, you can come over there. You can see a bigger picture of me. And then a cash system, you can really judge me, and you can really objectify me in my cash system. No, absolutely not. No, I was in very misogynistic circles back then, but no, I was in circles where ego was important and it was celebrated, and I still celebrate ego. But there was always something I asked about, well, what if, like, I'm self-serving, like, I'm helping others because I know helping others is gonna self-serve me. Alright, finished. Wow, Reddit. What a trip today. It's SpongeBob. They live in a jar. How'd you blow me up, Groot? What are you talking about? Oh, a Mason. No, you're talking about Freemason. Mason jar. Mason, yeah. Freemason. Oh, Groot left. Yeah, I don't know how long I stay alive. Some people from Reddit said they're going to come here to Twitch, but it's past 10 o'clock. I need to get rest myself too, you know? I didn't even get to, like, really get into this article. My beauty sleep. Yeah, I do need to get some beauty sleep. Although I fucking hate calling it beauty sleep, because then it, like, it gives too much power and value to beauty. My value as a human. Alright, Timmy, I appreciate you. I love you very much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Rest well. There's another poor aspect of charitable person, relevant more specifically to the psychological underpinnings of such self-interested displays of benevolence. This is the notion of conscious self-interest versus self-interest that motivates from behind, or in Freud's topology, underneath the level of conscious awareness. This point will become clearer when we discuss self-interest in the context of a Lacanian psychoanalytical critique. For now, we note that even Hobbes recognized that persons motivated by self-interest might not be consciously aware that their seemingly selfless acts were in fact blemished by concerns for the self. What is more characteristic of such behavior in terms of human psychology is that we consciously regard our actions as altruistic or interpretation most beneficial to our psychic life. In other words, we want to believe that our actions are unselfish, and consequently we interpret them in such a fashion. In fact, following psychological egoists, this interpretation obtains only superficially. That is, we delude ourselves absent a careful investigation of the unconscious dynamics that give rise to the logic of charitable, altruistic, intervening behavior. From this perspective, conduct motivated by self-interest might be inevitable, or our interpretation of actions as selfless merely the result of self-deception and rationalization. A definition of pity that anticipates the more psychoanalytically situated offerings. Pity is imagination or fiction of future calamity to ourselves, proceeding from the sense of another man's calamity. Ooh, that's interesting. It's not law day. It seems like law day. I am reading from a law journal, but it's more what I'm looking at is the psychology of advocacy. Like, I'm advocating that we should become advocates. So, you know, I want to, like, understand more of the psychology, like, egoism behind advocacy and how we can be better, more authentic, effective advocates versus self-serving advocates. But it is being told, I think this is like from the perspective of law, like the philosophy of law, because, advocates they can be people that advocate in the court for people or for causes. Yeah, I'll help promote your NFTs. Where are you selling them? Or have you minted them yet? Pity is imagination or fiction of future calamity to ourselves proceeding from the sense of another man's calamity. So, the feeling of pity is only our insecurities. That's interesting. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I think it could actually be really valuable in helping us become better advocates. Oh, Jesse, I missed all of your, I got too carried away with all this talk. I missed all of your point redemptions. Sorry. Moana, welcome in. Good to see you. So don't pity people. And if you pity people, know that you are feeling pity because you're only insecure about yourself. You can message the family, but you're always welcome to have my email. Please have my email. Well, thank you for the like. Guess who? Groot is in the house. Groot's hanging out. Groot's learning how to be a better troll. We're talking about some pretty heavy stuff today. We're talking about the psychology of advocacy. It's good, I'm learning some things. I've been having trouble getting through this article because I was streaming to Reddit and I had quite a passionate group of people having some discourse in the chat there, so, but it was good. We had really nice. Is that like manifestation? I guess so. That like, if you focus pitying everybody, you'll end up manifesting that for yourself, right? Just like, if you're constantly insecure about something, because again, the pity is just an insecurity of like a future calamity that's going to happen to you based upon seeing it happen to someone else. So if you're constantly feeling pity and feeling sorry for people, it is going to be more likely for you to manifest that for yourself. But that makes sense. That logic does make sense, Ian. I didn't think about it from that way, but that's a good way to look at it. So if we want to stop that from happening, don't focus on pitying people. And if you ever do feel pity, or if you ever do feel sorry for someone, immediately reflect upon yourself and understand that that's your own insecurity. I pity the fool, yeah. Yeah, just like that. That's powerful. So yeah, I've learned a lot, really good, about self-service, self-interest as it relates to altruism. So don't be altruistic for the sake of being altruistic. If you're going to be altruistic, be extremely critical of asking, am I being altruistic right here because of pity? Or because, because I'm feeling insecure about this thing, so I'm going to make it my new life mission to help other people that suffer from this thing? Hey, Cocab, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. We are not genuinely disturbed or discomforted by the misfortunes and sufferings of others. Rather, we are disturbed and discomforted only through an imaginative leap that entails the possibility of our own suffering. We must identify with the sufferer. It is here, perhaps, where we can reflect on the extent to which our pity differs when it involves someone unlike ourselves who suffers. The imaginative aspect of this process, that which entails identification, assumes an important role. Ooh, blackberry lemonade. Is that like the wax? Is that the wax you're going for? Moana, thank you for the teacups and the hearts. Stargazer, welcome in. Good to see ya. Psychological egoism rests most especially in its anticipation of future theoretical work. In some degree, Hobbes put forth a skeletal model of human motivation found appreciatively within many contemporary psychoanalytical circles of our time. In addition, Hobbes predates the modern analysis of gift-giving that will play an important metaphorical role in our assessment of advocacy. In short, while Hobbes did not concern himself with the mental health intervention movement per se, he foresaw how inherent self-interest figure prominently in our sentiments, giving rise to benevolent feelings, as well as helping behaviors themselves. Thus, we can use Hobbes more. Okay. The degradation of giving. Ralph Waldo Emerson's 1844 essay, Gifts, is perhaps the first full-blown exposition regarding the problem of the gift. Though limited in scope, his treatment delineates the paradoxical nature of the gift by suggesting the incursion of debt that is inherent in the practice of gift giving. Oh, so this answers the question of that guy that was asking. Is a blackberry vape juice? Yeah, I guess so. They make all kinds of flavors, huh? Hey, Giannis, welcome in. Nice to meet you. Dave, good to see ya. So yeah, someone on Reddit was asking about this, that, when you give, there's some anticipation that there's going to be a return. There's going to, As Emerson notes, it is not the office of a man to receive gifts. How dare you give them? We wish to be self-sustained. We do not quite forgive a giver. The hand that feeds us is in some danger of being bitten. Ooh. Okay, Moana, that's cool. Thanks for stopping by. It is not the office of a man to receive gifts. How dare you give them? We wish to be self-sustained. We do not quite forgive a giver. The hand that feeds us is in some danger of being bitten. Interesting. Dog tea. Bitcoin was here. He went to go. He's cold. He's got his bed and his heater in the other room. As Hobbes' position on human nature suspects the motives of the assigner, Emerson questions the psychology of the recipient, as well as the recognition by both parties that the bestowal of an award embodies a certain degree of power. For Emerson, then, there is a twofold danger inherent in the economy of gift-giving. In short, both giver and receiver are vulnerable to the effects of perversion and degradation. The corruption of a gift and the debasement of giving occur when what is offered is principally defined as something to be given. In other words, the usurpation of a true gift and a pure act of consigning is enacted once calculated as an award conceived and constructed for its value as a gift. In this sense, the gift need not be a material object or something possessing a physical nature. Rather, every act of helping, assisting, or intervening entails some form of token or gratuity. If the act of advocacy is generated in a less than genuine manner, that is, if it's not giving a portion of thyself, but rather a deliberate act of constructing for the sole purpose of being given as some form of gift, then it is equally subject to the kind of perversions and degradation implied in Emerson's essays. You'll take gifts all day, Ian? No, but it's so true. It's so true. Like, there's a lot of discourse going on about allyship. That, like, there are a lot of allies, you know, that are, like, using their platforms to advocate for certain things. But, you know, a lot of people that are the ones being advocated for are saying, hey, this is not genuine. You're just doing this for clout. You're just doing this to self-serve. And I think that this is what this is talking about. That, like, if you're gonna use advocacy as your gift, so fuck money. Like, that's already down the drain. Like, you're gonna be, you know, doing charity and getting money and donating money all day, like, whatever. That's already corrupted. But as this article is saying, if the gift becomes a non-material thing, then it can be genuine, but it can still be lacking. You know, it could still be disingenuous. It could still be fake and self-serving. You fuck with clout all day. They seem like picky gifters. Yeah, I don't do charity. I'm not a fan of charity. I don't think charity is really serving to anybody other than the person giving it. And as we're seeing in this article, is like you are actually harming yourself if you're falling into this pits of, like, pity and helping others to, like, subside your own pity versus really digging into your insecurities that are behind that pity. Do it for the clout. Fuck! Ian! Intentional efforts to provide something of value to someone else. One example are the various constitutional rights afforded persons with mental illness and how such liberty protections form the basis of many advocacy efforts. While these constitutional safeguards are ostensibly provided to individuals. Ian, thank you so much for becoming a 500 level mini fan. The psychiatric disorders out of genuine interest in human welfare. These apparent rights often conceal the more sinister motivating factors underlying juridical decision making. Indeed, it may be argued that the very purpose of availing such rights is to give appearance of the compassionate and humane approach to individual justice, when in fact these are merely self-interested attempts to quiet the voice of protest. Exactly. In this context, the gift of rights appear as a deliberate effort to provide users of mental health services with the humanity that the law wants for them, or that serves the interests of the legal sphere or other privileged and invested collectives. Is the law likely to give something when doing so threatens juridical, such a hard word. Yeah, we shouldn't deny anybody, but we could always ask. We could always ask and be critical and be like, is this gift derived from a place of self-interest? Is this gift derived from a place of inauthenticity? We could ask that, no harm. All right, so, you know, I'll share an anecdote that may help put into perspective for you, like, specifically around, hey, Cool Cat, thank you for the heart, why I don't believe in charity. When I was in the Peace Corps, when I lived in West Africa in the bush, a lot of the places that I would walk to, go to, visit, explore, I would be like a very unique sight for the village to see. You know, I was either the first or one of the first, like, foreigners or white people to come into their... Cool cat, thank you for the hearts. To come into their village and come say hi and hang out with them. And 100% of the time, I'd come into these places and, like, they'd be happy to see me. And, you know, they'd be surprised to hear me speaking their language. But the first thing they would always ask me is, what did you bring for us? Because they've been conditioned. They've been conditioned through their experience that people that look like me come bearing money and things, you know, and you know, then I'd ask them, oh, I come with nothing, you know, I'm a Peace Corps volunteer, it's just me, I'm going to be here hanging out with y'all for the day, like, maybe I could help you, you know, with some tasks you have, like, or we can just sit around and chat and share jokes and have fun together. And then they say, or, you know, we become friends, and then I'd ask them about the other nonprofits or charities that had come. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, they came and they built the school over there. And then the building was like this ran down building that they weren't using anymore. And I'd be like, oh, what happened to the school? Oh, you know, it burned, not burned down, but it blew away. The wind blew it away. So the kids aren't going to school anymore. Oh, these people came and built a well over here. The well's not being used. And I say, why not? Oh, it broke. You know, it's not functional anymore. And it's like... Sure, they can just accept the gifts, like these things that came to them. They can say, okay, I hear, thank you. But, like, it actually plays into your psychology after some time. So that's why I don't believe in charity. You know, like these nonprofits, and these are the nonprofits that you see on the infomercials at night, late at night on cable TV. You know, they have the... Oh, yeah. No, Dave, they don't want more. They're fine with what they got. But like Ian said, you want to give me something, I'll take it. You want to give me something, I'll take it. Here, thank you. But, you know, Dave, they aren't like wanting and asking for more. Please don't give that narrative to this. Yeah, Moana, this is a good song. Did you watch Cowboy Bebop on Netflix? It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to see. Yeah, you should. It's fun. Closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah, this is my friend's remix on the original song.
I think it's time I blow this scene. Get everybody stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Alright, I'm feeling tired. Did y'all get your boxes? Yeah, United Way, all of them. The same thing, Dave. You try to become like their god, and you could do that. You could do that, Ian. But that would just be your ego. Like, who are you serving and doing that? Who are you serving? Just yourself? Yeah, just having fun. See, I had fun. I did some things like that, Cody. Ian. I used to do some bad things. I don't know if I would do them again. Actually, I probably would do them again, because it's just fun. But, like, I used to, like, tell made-up stories about how the world works. pretty harmless overall. Pretty harmless overall. But unethical because I was lying. You don't lie? Then how the fuck are you gonna convince him that you're God? No, they were harmless little things. So like, the one year that I was there, the Ramadan was ending. So they have the Tabaskis, like the ending of Ramadan. It's a big celebration. It's like the biggest meal of the year, the biggest party of the year. That was happening at the same time that Christmas was happening. So that one usually happens on a lunar calendar, so it changes every year when it happens. But it was happening at the same time as Christmas, and I wanted to have a Christmas party at my place. And so I had to arrange food and stuff because I had like my American friends, my American Peace Corps friends come to my village, and I cooked a nice meal. And so my friends in the village that were helping me, they were like, hey, Aisha, they called me Aisha, that was my name. They're like, what is this holiday that you're celebrating in America? Is it similar to the holiday we're celebrating here? And I was like, yeah. They're like, okay, so it's like something everybody celebrates. I'm like, yeah. And I ended up explaining to them that we were celebrating Festivus. I did not tell them about Christmas. I didn't think it was very important to have to tell them about Christmas and how much of like a consumer holiday. It was like, and then plus whenever you're trying to tell somebody that doesn't know what Christmas is, that's in like a freaking third world country that only eats one meal every other day and like doesn't have money, or like, you know, if their kids do have any kind of toys at home, it's like something made from like an old tin can and a piece of yarn. Like, how do you explain Christmas to somebody from that perspective? It's so difficult. But Festivus was so easy to explain to them. So I said, yeah, we have a big meal together, and then after the meal is done, we air our grievances and we all yell at each other about why we're angry at each other throughout the year. And then we have feats of human strength and we wrestle. Well, something interesting in Niger and a lot of West Africa is wrestling is a really popular, important part of their heritage. It's a common sport, wrestling. So they said, oh, we want to participate. We love to wrestle. Can we wrestle? And so, like, I have photos from it. I'll show you all another time, but actually I can't show you now. But they all showed up, and we wrestled together. Like, everybody in my village wrestled together, or in the village. I hate calling it my village, but where I lived, everybody was wrestling together. And they're like, this is genius. This is so genius. Oh, of course. No, they were totally my friends. I didn't think it was really important for them to understand the true meaning of Christmas in the United States. So I found Festivus to be a much better holiday to introduce them to. And they thought it was genius. They're like, oh, everybody around the world should celebrate that. Or maybe you're not joking. Oh, here we go. Alright, this is the best image that I have. That's me. That's Hajo. Hajo, she's 14 years old. She actually beat me. But look at everybody. Everybody, like, we were in the dark. I mean, there's no electricity there, so it gets very dark. We had like one lantern, I think, and this was like a flash photo. But everyone is smiling. They gathered all around. You would have wrecked Honcho. And then, let's see. Oh, that's my friend Nat. We were totally wrestling Nat. Yeah, I wrestled Nat. This is us wrestling each other. We you know, they got such a kick watching us. They thought it was so funny, and they're like, "You guys celebrate this every, or yeah, you celebrate Americans celebrate this every year." I'm like, yeah. All right, let's see how my Twitch stream. I think I'm gonna end my stream. I'll hang out with y'all for y'all to get your boxes if you still need to get some boxes, but let's see who is here. I did not get it, Groot, and I didn't look at the tracking either. I'll do that as soon as I get off of here. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna raid anybody. Peace out, Ian. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. Alright, Internet. I love you all. Thank you so much. This has been fun. This has been so fun. I look forward to many, many more times with y'all. I hope you have a great weekend. Get lots of rest.